demands from other sources on government finances become so large that there won't be any room to finance any of this sort of thing, then those come mostly from old age security because of the aging population. So we have this little window, apart from the current turmoil in the economy, that if we don't take advantage of it, all of the room to maneuver is going to disappear because of the rising dependency rates.
Rick and then Joe?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I guess I'm accused sometimes of being overly optimistic in that I can see a little blue sky in a snowstorm, but I just want to voice the support for the opportunity that's there. When we responded to the Department of Labor and Workforce Development's strategic plan, we put a fair bit of emphasis on the need for training, skills training, literacy training, but also to capitalize on the crisis, unfortunately, that we have right now. Just a few short months ago, the crisis that was before us was our demographics, the shortages that we're experiencing now in workplaces for skilled workers, the projection of how that was going to entrench even further. And we had suggested that we should capitalize on that when we made the presentation to government, because there's a great opportunity, I think. We've had about 1,000 workers come home, not good news for them, but come home from Alberta because of the economic crisis there. But as sure as can be, they're going to be going back as soon as the economy turns around. And what we should be looking for, and unfortunately we need support from the federal government to effectively capitalize on enough of that, enough of the resources. But we should be looking at what's required to provide the training that's needed for people that are being displaced from the plants that have now closed in this province. Because a lot of those workers had a lot of base essential skills. They need some of the literacy training, obviously, to take some of the new training. But we could do that. We could do that now. And part of our presentation to the government, because we honestly believe that this is an area that we can go, but we're in this together. When we had a meeting with the Premier on January the 8th, we said, we're in this together. It's a nonpartisan issue. It shouldn't be employers. It shouldn't be unions against the employers. We're in this together, and what we should be striking is a very diverse group representative of our economy and the structure within our workplaces to guide where we're going on this training. Because we don't want to be doing training, and I don't want to offend anybody, but a number of years ago, I can recall when we were in the fisheries crisis in Mulgrave, we trained everyone that was displaced from some of the fishing plants there as either child care workers or hairdressers, and there was neither in that community. And so we have to focus on where we're going tomorrow, what tomorrow's needs are, and start training people to fit those hands in those gloves. And we got an opportunity before us to do it.
Hear, hear.
Thank you. Yeah, Joan?
What he just said. I want to spend a moment on this opportunity, because I also think it is an extraordinarily unique time to capitalize on this opportunity. Recognition of prior learning has finally grown up in Canada. Right? College last year recognized prior learning for 2,500 people who wanted to come to the college. It means that they don't have to cycle back in their education. So we have that piece. We have all the work that Stu's shop is doing around being on site for industries that are going down, being right there saying, what do you know, what can you do, and what's the next path for you? So all that triage work is being done. We have industries that are progressive, looking at the future and saying, I need to capture some of those people that are being laid off into my industry. And the college is really looking at this, we call it a flexibility lens, where suddenly, not just our literacy programs, but many of our programs, we're beginning to deliver them at night, on weekends. And I'll use one of the examples at Akerley. We're running our auto tech program. Students only have to be on campus Tuesday and Thursday nights. The rest of it is blended in online and intensive labs. So these people can work at the same time as they're doing work. And we're applying that same pieces to our literacy pieces. And we're going to move into weekends and nights and so on. So there's that flexibility piece. And then there is the profound economic piece. And I think we have a provincial choice in the next probably 18 months. We can let people stand on the sidewalk with their hands in their pockets, or we can do something profound for them so that they have the skills that are exactly docked up to what the economy will need. And I think it is an enormous opportunity. The presidents and I across the country who speak, we call this a perfect enrollment storm at the college. We already have wait lists on one side, we already have skill shortages on the other side that we're not meeting. We have people who are being laid off who need retraining, and we have what we call the college system as sanctuary during an economic downturn, where people want to compete with that just bit more of an edge in an economic downturn, so they return to post-secondary education. There's tremendous pressure on the system, but more than pressure on the system, I think it is our greatest single opportunity in the next 24 months to do some very transformative work. And you know, Stu facetiously mentioned that him and I are talking about many of these things, but I think we're talking about these things because the opportunity is right here, and the skill shortage is also right here. When I talk to employers, I'm not having employers say to me, you know, I've got all kinds of people. It's this incredible divide. Either they're really short of people, or they're laying a huge number of people off. There is nothing really in between. And that, I think, is putting tremendous pressure on getting the right people with the right skills in the right slots. I'm sure you had other questions you really
One or
wanted to
two.
ask as
One or
we
two.
took over.